7:29 p.m. It's Wednesday, February 17th. Short meeting this evening. Under new business, we just have four renewal applications for development of 4, 8, 12, and 16 Osborn Lane, which were originally approved in '06, renewed in 2011, and are up for renewal now that another 5 years have passed. Terry, do you have any comments on the renewal of these things?
The renewal, the big consideration in my belief is the seeing to it that the original conditions that were attached to the applications when they were first granted are the important issues. There's a lot of good quality wetlands in this area. It was a long hearing, if you recall. Both sides had experts at the table, and a careful set of approvals were crafted with environmental representation on both sides, and I think as long as we retain our conditions, approval would, a renewal of a permit would be appropriate.
Mm-hmm. And we can go up to another 5 years. Do you think there's any reason why we should do shorter than 5 years, or just leave it at the 5 years? And
I mean, I think that the only change in the area that I'm aware of is that not recently, but a few years ago, the town paved that small road that is in the frontage of Osborn, I guess it's called. Mm-hmm. But I haven't seen any, I haven't had occasion to be down that road, and I haven't seen any areas of concern. Mm-hmm. I haven't walked the property, however, but mm-hmm. from the road I haven't seen any. It's very dense now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, a long period of time where it's just been dormant with the approvals in place. So. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We don't have the original permit handy.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
we do.
Yeah.
Is there anything to remain relative to the conditions?
Yeah, let me just tell you what we said in it. Okay, other than the typical conditions, get a $50,000 bond.
So you're holding that bond?
Well,
still,
once they actually go to pull a permit, the bond would be posted. Okay. And then there were a number of items on the map for each of the properties, that they had to do. Basically, that required roof leader drainage to go into a certain area. The engineer record show field stage construction limits, silt fencing, and split rail fence. There were a bunch of things that had to be done once they went to pull the permit that provided some additional details as far as protections on the property. And some other erosion and control matters. They had to detail some other additional riprap that wasn't shown on the original plan. So basically each lot was looked at fairly carefully, and it wasn't just like usual stipulations. There were specific things that were addressed as to each lot. So, but again, that was in 2006.
And I assume each lot has to come before us
individually? No, I mean, this is the approval for each lot, so therefore all they would need to do is go in and post the bond. Excuse me, post the bond. And it's a $50,000 is for the entire subdivision, right. All of these four lots together. So, I mean, they want to come back to us basically, unless they need another renewal.
Because I remember there being extensive wetlands, possibility of a vernal pool. As I remember, we had testimony from possibly Dr. Clemens for the first time.
That was the first Dr. Clemens.
Talking about the amphibians and having low curbing so that the amphibians could cross the curbs if a road was built in.
And that's the driveway even, I think.
Yes,
is what
exactly.
That is.
Yes.
And as I recollect, all those are part of the record drawings.
And we spent a significant amount of time on all of these lots and, well, the subdivision itself, basically, so. Let's see if there's anything else of importance here. Yeah, this went on for a good number of months, actually. So basically, that was it. And we looked at it carefully in '06, looked at it in a cursory fashion in 2011, and here we are again at 5 years out.
Is there any reason to think that the lots have changed, or that the regulations that govern those lots have changed?
I don't think, other than being more heavily wooded now, I don't think anything really has changed unless,
Well,
yeah.
Has the old permit expired?
No,
No.
No, it's coming up on expiration, though. I think it. let me
it's
just-
soon, but it is not yet expired.
It was. Final expiration of the permit shall be March 15, 2016. But then the legislature came by and said, even though that was the final back then, the legislature changed the law, so it's no longer final permit approval because everything slowed down. So therefore, the developers in the state won a reprieve from those kind of deadlines. So in March, it will expire if we don't extend it.
And, and we've distributed for your amusement purposes only, a flow chart that has been crafted to reflect what the legislature did.
So basically, we're in column 1, if I understand correctly. So it's 14 years from additional permit issuance is what we're dealing with. So 14 plus 6 is 2020, basically. We could go out to March of actually January of 2020, because it was originally approved in January of 2011.
So when was the original date?
January, let me just double check that. January of 2011
Was the renewal.
was the, it was the renewal. It was renewed to, okay, let me just back up, sorry. March 15, 2006 was the original approval. We can go out 14 years from that
Right.
date. We can go out to March 15, 2020.
So 4 years.
Basically, yeah, a little over 4 years in a month. Yeah,
So we can't do 5 years.
yeah, so we can't.
Well, I think that by action of the legislature, it's probably not expiring in March, because I don't believe that this action of the legislature anticipated a further vote of the agency.
Oh, okay.
However, they've made an application to extend in a reasonable fashion. I think that I don't think there's been any material changes in either our regulations and or the land that would prevent. We don't always follow our regulations. For example,
Yes, we do.
well, that's what I'm saying, is that we typically have a 5-year permit.
Yeah.
However, our regulations say 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we like to have people come back in case situation changes or
We're an agreeable group and like to see people, so, and concerned about things that might change. I don't think it's, you want to do 4 years and a month so that there's no statutory inconsistencies?
Yeah, I didn't double check this, but I'll take this for being correct, and since it's less than the 5 years anyway, I would propose we go to March 15, 2020, and see what the legislature does between now and then.
Sure.
So.
Or the real estate market, because I'm sure that the applicant would be delighted to have been developed by those properties by then
I'm sure.
in a responsible fashion.
Right. So unless somebody else has any questions, then we have a motion to extend it to March 15, 2020.
So moved.
David
Oh.
moved,
I'll second that.
Jack seconded it, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions, okay, 5-0. All right, so that applies to all four of the applications that are up for extension.
That date is March 16th.
March 15, 2020. Okay, we don't have any old business. Next item on the agenda, enforcement officer report, anything going on we need to talk about?
There's not at this time.
That's good. We'll get back to goals and directions and regulation changes later. I mean, one thing we should consider, given the sort of backhanded criticism we had of our last changes, we should probably, at some point sooner than later, look at that addendum we did to the regulations that some people don't like. So we'll visit that. We'll keep this on the agenda for next month and maybe talk about it then. There are no site visits scheduled, so therefore there's nothing to do there. Approval of the minutes. Chris had circulated by email the minutes. I think I only had one change.
Probably the same one.
Pardon me?
Typo.
Yeah, there was a typo in one spot. Hold on. Here they are. Yeah, tested.
Tested, yeah.
Wow, everybody read it. Very impressed.
The
Okay.
typo caught your attention.
I know. Page 2, in the Mr. Golden bullet points of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fifth bullet point down under gold. Mr. Golden continued. The fill was tested, and there was one level that was too high. That was the only correction or change I had. Anybody else have anything? Oh, there was one other thing that I didn't understand.
What is that abbreviation for? UTPH?
Oh, extractable total petroleum hydrocarbons.
There was only one other question I had, and maybe somebody could just clarify. In the bottom of the first page, it said the building application had required several attempts by the AEO in his capacity as building official. Had required several attempts, or I didn't understand that. I wasn't sure what that meant.
I think that describes what went on. The applicant
Got it. Yes.
wasn't able to obtain a permit for a few attempts because I just couldn't understand his application.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I might add, we never even made it to that.
And that confusion was transferred to the clause here, at least in my mind. So
Okay.
anyway, all right. Anybody else have any other corrections?
No, but I will recuse myself on the vote.
Oh,
I
okay.
wasn't here.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes with that change?
I'll make the motion.
Jack moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Dave Bernstein, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
David Bixler abstained. 4-0 approved. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Just on miscellaneous type stuff. Chris had sent around an email if anyone wanted to go to that Kakiwik seminar, which is in March 17 on St. Patrick's Day up in Southbury. Just like Chris knows, she can register you. And I don't know, anybody else have anything else? Terry, anything else we need to talk about? Oh, as far as dinner, I've just been overwhelmed with stuff. So we're talking about maybe doing it in March or maybe doing it in June. We'll let you know within the next couple weeks. So sorry about that. And guess that's it.
Well, what is this reference to application for aquatic pesticide permit?
Oh, hold on. Let me see if it was on the agenda. It was in the memo.
It was in the memo. Right, yeah.
We get a notice in writing from
Oh,
a state agency that a pesticide application is being conducted for mosquitoes at a certain property, and I don't think we have any jurisdiction over it at all.
Oh, I see. So you're just noting the
Sort of a courtesy notice.
It's a courtesy notice, and I'm surprised that we don't get more of them, frankly, because I think that there's more treating for mosquitoes in a wider area than in fact this one. But on this particular property, they're very careful and about their noticing, and we pass that information along to you.
This is being done by the state or by the?
It's being done by a private party.
So the property owner initiated it.
I think it's more the pesticide applicator that is being, we've got a good responsible guy who believes in notice, and so, it might be the property owner, but I believe it's probably the applicator.
Anybody have anything else we need to talk about? Okay, then we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Dave Bixler moved. We have a second. Jack second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions. We're done. 7:45.
Yeah.
Thank you.